This conference will now be recorded.
Hello all, this is Tim with QT2 Systems. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to go over some race directions and have, I guess, what I would consider to be a recorded pre-race meeting, because I didn't quite have the time to be able to schedule a typical pre-race briefing in person. So I wanted to go over this real quick because this is a different kind of event than we've done before, only slightly though. In the past, we've done the run, bike, run events. And now we are going to do a triathlon, so swim, bike, run, or a bike run event. And I'll get through to that in a little bit. So no more run, bike, run. Okay, it's either a triathlon, swim, bike, run, or a bike run. Okay, so we have added to our race series. We are now on event number 4. I have added 5 more sprints. I'm sorry, 4 more sprints. July 19th, August 8th, September 13th, and September 26th, and also a couple of endurance events, a broken half Ironman and a broken Ironman. Okay, but we're going to talk specifically about tomorrow's event. I'm sorry, Saturday's event. The swim 800 meters, bike 18.6 miles in the draft legal format, and run 3.5 miles. And if you have appropriate and safe water conditions, then you are able to take part in the entire swim, bike, run event. And if you do not, then you just take part in the bike run event. Okay. My welcome. How does it work? So this is a swim, bike, run or bike run. So there will be two sets of results. Results for those who, in addition to our age group results, but there'll be results for those who take part in the swim, bike, run, and there'll be results for those who take part in the bike run. Those who take part in the swim, bike, run will be in the triathlon results and the bike run results, while those who take part in just the bike run will be only in the bike run results. What are the requirements? So as normal, just like the typical racing we do, for the bike and the run, the bike we're going to be on a Swift meetup. I have sent out all those invites. Now you're just going to have to accept that. The only difference is that the time has changed, and I'll go over that. Time has changed from what we've done in the past, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But for the swim, bike, run athletes only, you need a device which accurately measures swim distance in the pool and or open water. I'm showing on the screen right now. I don't know if you can see me. A Garmin 935X. That is a device that measures swim distance, okay, in the pool and in open water. This is the kind of device that you need, and that must be uploadable to either Strava or Garmin Connect. As always, you need to have, for this race, because it's draft legal, your in-game bike, not the bike that you're on, but your in-game bike must be a road bike, a road frame, no TT frames allowed. And please make sure that you have an accurate weight in the game of Zwift. Okay. Race day checklist. I think the biggest thing to point out right now, 2 things. The biggest issues are that you can swim, you can do the 800-meter swim at any point between 5 a.m. Eastern on June 19th, so tomorrow, through 3 p.m. Eastern on June 20th, race day. Okay, so you're responsible for, if you want to do the swim, bike, run event, you need to swim 800 meters at any point between 5 a.m. Eastern on June 19th and 3 p.m. Eastern on June 20th. Okay, and then the next note important to pay attention to is the start time. So in the past, we've had bike meetup that started at 9:15 a.m. Eastern, but that was when we had a first run, a run 1. We do not have the first run anymore. So the bike meetup will begin promptly at 8:30. So I recommend being on Zwift no later than 8:25. Okay, so the actual bike run event portion of the bike run event or the bike run portion of the triathlon event will begin promptly at 8:30 Eastern on June 20th. All right, how do we do this? So basically, if you're only doing the bike run event because you don't have appropriate water conditions being something that's safe, pool, ocean, lake, pond, river, special considerations for river, and I'll talk about that a little bit. If you don't have those kinds of things available to you, then just do the bike run event. And so I'll skip down to the bottom. The bike run event will take place on June 20th only. It starts at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 18.6 miles through the Zwift meetup. And then the run right off the bike, you have to start the run within 10 minutes after finishing the bike, 3.5 miles. Okay. And if you are doing the triathlon event, swim bike run, then you do what I just said in terms of the bike running, and you can swim, or you must swim at any point between between 5 a.m. Eastern on June 19th and 3 p.m. Eastern on June 20th. Okay, so this is just purely for the bike run, which I just talked about. Okay, so swim guidelines. So if you're a bike run athlete only, you don't need to worry about the swim guidelines. As I said, and I'll say it again, the swim can take place at any point between 5 a.m. Eastern on June 19th and 3 p.m. Eastern on June 20th. It can be done in a pool or in the open water. Special note, swims completed in a river must include approximately equal distances up and down the river. So basically, we just don't want you swimming, going to one point in the river and swimming completely downstream. That would be, we would consider that cheating. Okay, so if you're swimming in a river, then you need to spend equal distances going with the current and against the current. Okay, as best you can come. Okay, as best you can come. Swim must be recorded with a GPS device, and you must swim a full 800 meters. 800 meters. So check your units, not yards. If you're in a pool, if you're a 2,500 yard pool, I'm sorry, 25-yard pool, then you will need to swim 875 meters. 875. Could be 880, but we'll call it 875. Okay, so 875 yards or 800 meters for this race. And you may submit the fastest 800-meter time that you can prove using a GPS file. Okay, so the fastest 800 time continuous that you can prove using a GPS file. 800 meters or 875 yards. Okay, and you must upload your swim to Strava or Garmin Connect to submit to us. The bike guidelines remain the same. You have within the companion app, you just have to accept yourself as going to the event. You must be on a road bike frame, and the race will begin promptly at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Let's see. To that end, I recommend getting on the bike no later than 8:25 Eastern. And that's that. Just make sure when you log into Zwift, you can log in any way you want if you're warming up, but at about the 5-minute mark before the race is set to begin, you will get this little screen on your screen, this little pop-up on the screen, meetup starting, and you can either click let's go and it'll bring you automatically there, or it'll count down and it'll auto select you after about 30 seconds. Okay. Just a reminder that you are not done with the bike until you see this stat line pop up on the screen. The bike is set to be 18.6 miles sometimes, just like in real life. Courses end up, for whatever reason, being 18.5 or 18.8. Who knows what happens in the computer software. But you are not done until, even if your screen says you're at 18.6 miles, until you see this stat line pop up. Okay. You are not done. As soon as you see that stat line pop up, you are done. Save that ride and upload it to Strava or Garmin. Our course is going to be the Witopia Figure 8. It's a good solid course, a little bit of climbing, not too bad, but for more information, check out this race guide. Okay, a reminder that transition must be done inside of 10 minutes. So if your transition takes 30 seconds, or it takes 9 minutes and 58 seconds, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. Transition isn't kept. A score isn't kept by transition unless it takes longer than 10 minutes. In the case where it takes longer than 10 minutes, then you're disqualified. And we do run spot checks on Sunday sometimes. The run, I shouldn't say run two, should just say run. It can be indoors or outdoors. And sorry, that should not say run two, it should just say run. And it should be 3.5 miles. It's not 3.5 miles. It can be indoors or outdoors, and it must be the full distance, 3.5 miles. Make sure that you only submit the file for that run. So for example, if your run 3.5 miles takes you 25 minutes and 13 seconds, make sure your file is only 25 minutes and 13 seconds long. If you submit a file that has a warm-up and or a cool down inside of the run, then you're going to get the time for the total run. Okay, so what I recommend is on your device, make sure it's zeroed out when you begin. Okay, and when you finish, if you're going to do a cool down after you finish, I would start a new file. I would save the race run and then start a new file for the cool down at 0. Okay. A reminder that you're not done until you're not finished until you fill out the post-race form. You will receive this via email during the race, probably around 9:30, I imagine. You will get an email with this results submission form. Okay. And you need to fill that out before 3 p.m. Eastern. At 3 p.m. Eastern, I stop accepting results. I close the form and I start working on building out the result sheet. Okay. A reminder that all splits. So in this form, just a reminder for those who haven't raced with us in the past, you will be asked to provide your splits, and I ask you to do so in hours, minutes, seconds format. Hours, minutes, seconds. It's very simple. We have a pretty good 95-ish% compliance rate with that, but sometimes people screw that up. So for example, if you're submitting a swim time of 15 minutes and 43 seconds, you'll need to submit it as 00:15:43. Okay, hours, minutes, seconds. And you'll be asked for each of those splits, and then you'll be asked to provide the proof of those splits with a Garmin Connect or Strava file. Okay, and this is the stuff that we actually want to see. So within your Strava file, if you're going from your computer, I want this URL link in the circle here. Or if you are going from the mobile app, then I want what the little page with the arrow sticking out of it provides you when you click on that. Okay, and that's what you're going to input into the results submission form. So there's a page of technical help in the race guide, so just a reminder on that. We have some rules, so just read through these rules. The big ones just being that the swim must take place, if you're doing the triathlon event, the swim must take place somewhere between 5 a.m. Eastern on June 19th and 3 p.m. Eastern on June 20th. And the swim can be completed in a pool or the open water, but if it's in a river, then try to spend equal distance swimming up and down the river. If you are doing the bike run only, then you have no responsibility until 8:30 a.m. Eastern on June 20th when the bike starts. Okay, so bike and then run immediately thereafter. Okay, and another rule is that you must be on a road frame on your in-game bike must be on a road frame. Okay, so just a real quick thing, a little bit about swim splits. Let me just grab my Strava. Here is a swim that I do. Okay. It's my little pond that I use. Now my device, my watch, I have it set to grab laps. It automatically laps every 500 yards. Okay, and so for example, if I am submitting, if this were a swim and if this were a race and the race distance was 500 yards, then I would submit and I would just swim this 200 meters. I would just do the swim, and I would pick a time when I was going to really go for it. So what I would probably do is, again, pretending the swim is 500 yards, I do a 500 warm up, and then maybe I do another little warm up, 500 yards. My watch vibrates whenever it hits the distance that I have it set to, which is 500 yards. I'm going to change that to be 800 meters. And as soon as it vibrated, I would pick an 800 meter segment that I wanted to push. And as soon as it vibrated, I would push that 800 meters, and whatever we can prove as fast as possible, 800 meters is what you'll get for a time. Okay, so for example, I would put a time in if the race was 500 yards, 7:42, which would be my second lap. Okay, but that's something that's automatically set in my device to automatically lap every 500 yards. I'm going to change that to be every 800 meters. Okay, and then I will submit a file like this, and whichever of the 800 meter laps that is the fastest is the one that I would claim as my time. Okay, well, thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Tim at QT2systems.com.